Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while, but here I am with a layout for you. This one here was a layout I created for Halloween. And so although Halloween was a little different at my house this year, we still dressed up and I still let my kids pick out Halloween costumes and wear them. They weren't allowed to wear them to school. Unfortunately, they were asked to dress in black and orange or Halloween themed, but no costumes allowed. But on Halloween, because it was a Saturday at my house, we decided that we were going to dress up. So this is a picture of these. I have two pictures. So the photographs are of my daughters. I have one that was sweet and dressed as a unicorn, and another one that was spooky and dressed up like a character from the movie Coco. It's a Disney movie about Dias de la Muerte, which is the Day of the Dead, and honoring that Mexican tradition. And so my daughter loves that movie, and she wanted to be a sugar skull. So there we go. So I started off with that cut file. It says sweet and spooky, and I thought it was just perfect because I have one little chickadee who is sweet and dressed as a unicorn and another one who's totally spooky, right? So that title was totally fitting. And I found that cut file through a link on Pinterest, and if you head over to my Pinterest, you will find it under my SVG file on that board. And I actually cut it out once out of I outlined it in Silhouette Studio, and I cut that out of white cardstock. And then I went through and I cut the interior out twice, once out of black cardstock and once out of that light orange kind of corally stripe. And then I just offset the black underneath and placed the orange stripe on top so it looks like it's got a shadow. And I also want to say that I had absolutely, well, almost zero Halloween ephemera or anything to work with. So this is all stuff that I've had for forever. So I checked the papers that I had, and I had like nothing, basically nothing from Halloween, but I went through my hoard vault and I found some paper from that background paper is for, geez, let me compose myself here. That black and white diagonal stripe is from Crate Paper's Confetti collection. Yeah, I know, right? And it's called Blast. And then the papers, the other papers that I use are also from Confetti, and they're just bits and pieces, things with like this light orange corally kind of color that I thought worked with it. And you're going to see that nothing on my layout kind of matches. My oranges don't match at all. So I have like this bright orange that's matting the photographs, and my title is a more muted kind of orange. But I really end up liking the contrast, and I made it a point not to buy anything this year Halloween related, even though there were some really, really cute collections available. I said, no, I'm going to go through my stash and I'm going to use what I have. And that's exactly what I did. Here you see that I showed you the chipboard pieces that I have, and those are from 2013. So yes, 7 years ago, I bought those and never used them. And I have the My Mind's Eye Happy Haunting chipboard, and also the Teresa Collins Masquerade Party chipboard. So that's the ephemera that I'm working with. That's all I have. So, and I really challenged myself to not have to use a crazy amount of ephemera, because you guys know how I scrapbook. I really enjoy embellishing and I really enjoy layering, and so the more ephemera the better, but not in this case. I just didn't have it to work with. And that was okay, because it meant that I got to go in my stash and use what I had first and foremost, and most importantly. And second of all, I got to think outside of the box, right? So how am I going to make this work, in my, in a way that's not my usual way? And so there you see that I use the big frame from the that's from the My Mind's Eye Happy Haunting chipboard. That frame was a perfect background piece for everything to sit up on. And I'm also going to use bits and pieces as well. So those circle pieces, the stars, and a couple of the bats. Right now I'm taking some gold twine, it's not twine, some gold thread, and I'm just creating a couple nests, and I'm going to tuck them in and behind the photographs and just create something that's more abstract. I'm really liking this messy look. And kind of like grungy kind of ish as well, because the paper itself is very distressed. And Confetti was a collection that Crepe Paper put out, but it was birthday themed. So it's interesting to me how this birthday themed collection is totally being used years later for a Halloween layout. So yeah. So my adhesive of choice, of course, is my hot glue gun. It's just instant and fast, and I love what it does. And I'm just using it to secure down the thread behind my photo. So I'm just putting a drop of glue behind and just tacking it down. I'm also going to take some of this thread and I'm going to tuck it underneath the frame here at the bottom middle of the cut file. So it's just kind of peeking from out under the cut file. Now this is when I'm scouring the chipboard sheets that I have and seeing, okay, what's going to work, what's not going to work, what can I pull that's not going to make me uncomfortable. So the stars were great because I call my kids my stars. So how fitting, right? But totally Halloween related as well. So I pick a few of those out. I believe there's 3 of them. And I'm also going to choose some of the circle pieces and tuck those underneath and peeking out from my title and some of the photos. But first, the addition of bats. So I use a couple of those as well. And I know that they're sticky, but I also like to put some adhesive on the back of those as well, just to secure them. You know, it's been a while. These chipboard are from 2013. So, I mean, they've lasted pretty good. They've been untouched and sitting in some clear iris boxes, but you know, over time, it being on paper, I just know that they are going to lose some of their tackiness, and I'd rather not find my embellishments at the bottom of my page protector, right? You guys know my horror story of, you know, popping open old albums and everything's just fallen apart because I used the adhesive that came from the manufacturer. So I vowed to never let that happen again. So here I am just tucking some pieces behind my photos. Starbucks break, of course. More glue, more placement of things. And you know, and I have to say that I feel kind of accomplished and proud of myself that I did use the supplies that I had on hand. I made quite the point not to buy anything new. I mean, I may scrapbook a Halloween or seasonal like layout, but mainly, you know, I don't. If I do one, it's, you know, just for my kids or whatnot, but you know, it's not something that I'm totally into. And so I thought, you know what, Lena, enough of this hoarding business. You know, let's use what we've got. There you see that I'm using, what is that called? That is the day. Here's another throwback for you. So I'm going to take some of these numbers and create, you know, and add the year. So 2020, and this is from the Daily Flash. Do you remember that? Remember October Afternoon? Yeah, this is where they're from. So these are quite old as well. I wonder if they have a date on them. Let me check here. So let's see what they say. They say 2015, October Afternoon, 2015. So there you go, totally throwing it back and using things that I have in my collection. I'm also taking some Dilutions ink spray here in Pure Sunshine. And this is an orange, and it looks pretty dark on the screen, but when it dried, obviously it dried a lot lighter. And all the oranges, all the tones of oranges worked really well. I was really happy with the way it turned out. I'm also going to take some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in gold, of course, and add Some gold splatter as well, very cautiously placed, perfectly placed, very meticulously placed. And so yeah, so that's all I'm doing here, and that's my layout. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think it turned out pretty cool. I'm really liking that cut file. It's super cute and totally works for this set of photos that I'm using. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in the next video, and I hope you guys are all doing well. Take care now. Bye.